So the big thing is taking advantage of all of the different features that LinkedIn provides. I'll give you another one. So recently they gave you the ability to have a slideshow banner. So instead of
Yeah.
just one banner on your profile, you can now have up to five images. So right away we took advantage of that. I went to the designer. I said, hey, let's design five different images
Mm.
that tell the story of Socially In and what we do. They turned it around, and now if you go to my profile, you'll see that you're able to scroll through the banner.
Yeah.
So just staying on top of what's happening on the platform and then being a practitioner. Put yourself in the searcher's shoes, right? So, what is your prospect ultimately going to search for? And
Mm.
then try to build your content strategy around it and put out as much content as possible. Going back to the interest media comment that I made, today, you might have 1 million followers and I might only have 10,000 followers, but still one of my videos could get way more views than one of your videos just because of the way the algorithm works. So having a sound content strategy in place that not is just checking a box and saying, oh, we need to post on Instagram because, that's what brands do versus saying,
Yeah.
we need to post on Instagram because we want to provide value to X persona.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Your Lab Central. Today I'm joined with Keith. So, Keith, would you like to tell our audience why they should be excited about this conversation?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Aditya, thank you for having me. But I think the audience should get excited because I don't plan on holding anything back, right? Like I plan on giving you the real story of how I started Socially In, built it up to 50 employee agency, continuing to grow it, how we've been in business for 14 years. So if any audience members want to learn about social media marketing, how they can utilize it for their brand, whether it's an enterprise brand or a medium-sized company or even a small business, how they may be able to do it. And I'm also willing to share any of the hurdles or, negatives and positives that we had along the way. So I don't plan on holding anything back. Anything you ask me, I'll answer it fully and truthfully.
All right. Thank you so much for telling me that you're not holding holding no, nothing behind. So, just to start, you mentioned that you've been in the social media business for like 14 years, right? First thing I want to ask is how do you see social media has changed from when you started and where it is right now?
Yeah, great question. So a lot has changed. When we first started 14 years ago, one, I was still in college and Facebook had just really started to pop off. It was 2011. Facebook had just really started to pop off. Facebook pages still had the banner profile on the side, if you remember,
Yeah.
and followers were very important back then. And up until recently, followers were very important, and they're still important for different reasons, like social proof and part of your reach comes from your followers. But today, the landscape has like totally shifted to interest-based media. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard the term thrown around, and I think it was coined by potentially Gary Vee.
Mhm.
Um, and essentially, what it means is now your followers matter less because the algorithms are trying to get your content in front of people who might care about your content. So, a
Yeah.
lot of times, even when we're optimizing for different uh, content pieces, we're looking at a specific metric, and that metric is views by non-followers, right? Because we want to get in front of people who might not know about us. And then
Hmm.
also the shift, obviously, as you know, to more short form video content. A lot
Hmm.
of brands, a lot of creators. We're on video right now. It's almost all video content that you're seeing on social channels now. Going back to the interest media piece, the algorithm also rewards entertaining content, right? That's why you see people talk about the 3 second hook and why that's so important, or the thumbnail on YouTube and why that's so important, because there's
Yeah.
so much content being put out there that it's important to try to capture the person's attention within the first few seconds.
Yeah.
Um, Also, on top of that, social is now being indexed on search results, right? Like this is something very new, actually. Just in July,
Yeah.
Google started to rank Instagram posts. And now with LLMs and what's happening with that, obviously they're taking information from places like Reddit, Quora, now Instagram because it's indexable, and utilizing those sources to provide the proper answers. So so much has changed, right? Not just from like new platforms arising. Then there was Snapchat, and there was Vine, then there was Threads, and then TikTok, and then there's all these different platforms that, popped up. And I assume that there will be more platforms in the future. But even from a tactical standpoint, what brands have to do on social has changed.
Right. Now, just the social media being indexed on Google, it just struck me, right? A lot of companies had having this problem about Reddit getting better ranks than their own websites because
Yeah,
any query that somebody was searching, Reddit posts were more engaging for
coming up. Yeah,
users
yeah.
and they were just ranking now top of the charts. So that was just one thing that just hit my mind. So yeah. So, from the perspective of going from 0 to 50 employees, right, on a business perspective, how's the journey been? What were the lessons that you started off with from picking up your first employee to picking up your 50th employee?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, as you can imagine, it's been up and down roller coaster. We have zero debt, and we have been at a point where we had almost 100 employees at one point
Right.
back in 2023. And then, as business always goes, business went down. We tried to recoup, and then we went down to almost 35, and then grew back to 50. And then we have a pretty good growth trajectory now. But in the early stages of Socially In, we were very much a hustle mentality. So there
Hmm.
were no clear processes in place. Everyone that was working with us, they kind of just figured it out at the end of the
Yeah.
day, right? Like they didn't follow a checklist, or they didn't have to go to an SOP or anything like that. It was like, okay, well, we have this new client. This client wants to accomplish XYZ goal.
Mhm.
Let's go and figure it out. Versus
Yeah.
today, we have more sophisticated processes, systems, different teams that do different things.
That's right.
And then also in the early days, just to keep the lights on, we used to take on projects that didn't necessarily align with our overall mission, which is to provide world-class services in the realm of social media marketing, because we only do social media marketing. We used to take on all types of projects. So we used to take on software development projects. And
Hmm.
then me and my business partner, who's my cousin, we would go out and find a software developer just, to keep the lights on. I remember one project we took on was for a local government official. He was campaigning to become the mayor of
Uh-huh.
Starkville, Mississippi. And we took on a project where our job was to go around and canvass. So we hired a team of college students. We went around the neighborhoods, we knocked on doors, we asked, hey, do you know about this mayor? Do you know about his ideas?
Hmm.
Would you like to learn more? So as you can imagine, that's something like that we don't do as a business at all, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't canvas for governments. But in early days, when there was a lack of clients and a lack of inbound leads, and really nobody knew the Socially In name, we used to have to take on pretty much any project that we could get. So that was a big learning experience because it took us longer to get to the point where we are today
Yeah.
because we didn't focus in the beginning.
Mhm.
But if we didn't focus in the beginning, then we might not have had the revenue to stay in business. So it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know, but um, I would say those are some of the learnings.
Mhm. Now, one thing that's coming to my mind, I just happened to ask a similar question to a previous guest. She was a content writer, and then I asked her, "Are you able to optimize your own content and not just your clients?" Right. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you that same question. Are you able to
Yeah.
optimize your own social media and just not just help your clients?
Yeah, I mean, I think to a certain extent we've done an okay, maybe even a subpar job. So like myself, I've amassed over 13,000 followers on LinkedIn, pretty much all marketers on my own Instagram, 10,000 plus followers on Socially's TikTok, 10,000 plus followers. So I think we've done an okay job. But it's like the saying, the painter's house never gets painted. And I really do believe that up until this year, we
Uh-huh.
didn't ever heavily invest into our own marketing activities, right? It was just like, oh, I have some time, let me go make a post. Oh, I have a
Yeah.
little bit more time, let me, make this Instagram story or make a video or whatever it is. But now it's a lot more sophisticated. And actually, just before this call, we had a all hands on marketing meeting where
Hmm.
we're about to turn it up a notch. So we just launched our own podcast, It's called the
Right.
Serious Social Podcast, where we talk about everything that's happening in the world of social media.
Mhm.
And, our plan is to take that pillar piece of content, the podcast, the 30-minute long segment, and then turn it into short form video clips, make sure that we distribute it. We're utilizing AI to, take the script from the podcast and be able to make micro pieces of content from it.
Yeah.
We're also empowering our management team to utilize their own personal LinkedIn profiles
Mhm.
to, amplify the message. We actually have a service internally where we have done that for so long for executives. It's
Yeah.
called social selling, where we help executives and sales reps with their personal LinkedIn profile. But then when you go and look at some of our executive team members, their LinkedIn profiles are not up to par. So we're now, providing the resources, providing the budget where they can start doing the thing. So to directly answer your question, I think we've done it in an okay way. And
Mhm.
then now 2025, the latter half of 2025 and definitely 26, you'll see a lot more of Socially In the leadership team.
And now, just from the entrepreneur and business owner perspective, okay, why aren't business owners, say, in general, or even in your perspective, not able to? I mean, if they're selling a service, why are they not able to do that for themselves as well? I mean, there's one thing that they don't because there's revenue coming in, so there's more value to do it for somebody else. Then again,
Yeah.
just from the
Yeah, I mean, so it's a multitude of reasons, right? Like, so why can't internal teams do social in-house? Well, I mean, they can. There's a lot of clients that we work with that have amazing internal teams, especially when we work with enterprise level clients like Carnival or Samsung or Hitachi. I mean, they have huge marketing teams, but sometimes those marketing teams require external support. So maybe that marketing team doesn't have the budget to produce short form video or UGC style video
yeah.
content that we can at scale and at the cost that we can because that's all we do all day long. The other reason is our partnerships, right? So we have partnerships with different platforms. So we're Meta Marketing preferred partners. We were one of the first 300 global TikTok agency partners.
Mhm.
And that partnership brings a lot of insight and know-how to what we're actually doing at the end of the day. And then the third reason, I believe is we're able to see what's working across a multitude of clients and then say, oh, hey, this client did this thing. Maybe we should think about doing it for this client. So we're able to gather not just one brand's data, but a multitude of brands' data and apply that knowledge to the rest of the client base.
Okay, now you took it into in a different form. The question, what I wanted to ask is basically
Okay.
in business owners or entrepreneurs, when they provide a service to somebody else, right? So, like
Uh-huh.
you are providing social media services to others. Okay, now you do it for others. That's great that you're providing value to others. But why are you not
I
able
see what
to
you're
do
saying.
it for yourself?
Yeah,
Why
why we
do
can't
you
do it
not?
for ourselves.
Yes, why do you not see value? Why did you not see value earlier, or did you not get time, or what was the trigger that made you feel that, yeah, now I should be doing it?
Yeah. So I don't know why we didn't do it, right? I think it's a constraint around resources
Yeah,
because as an agency specifically, all of our resources, almost 85% plus, need to go to billable work, right? Like client work that we
yeah,
can
that's
money
right.
for. And then when you're a small company, we're a small company. We do 5 million plus in revenue,
Mhm.
but we're don't have the resources as the enterprise. So when you're a small company, you might not have the budget to hire a marketing team.
Mhm.
You might not have the time to do it, especially like in the beginning stages. My
Yeah.
entire focus was like, how can we go get more clients? And maybe doing the social media for myself could have gotten me more clients,
Mhm.
but the thinking was if I'm on the ground, networking, knocking on doors, calling people,
Yeah.
that could be a faster client acquisition channel than building up a personal brand or building up the brand. So,
Uh-huh.
uh, and I assume it's different for other service businesses, right? Like, does the landscaper's house look perfect? Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So,
Mhm. Now, lessons from your own LinkedIn practices, right? Is there anything specific that you're doing that you don't see others doing, and probably you want to share some kind of insight like that?
yeah. Yeah, a lot of different things. So, first is taking advantage of all of the features that LinkedIn provides, right? one of the features that's unknown is you can invite your followers and your connections to like your company page, to follow your
Uh-huh.
company page. And you get a certain amount of invites a month. So I think it's like 50 or 80 invites or something like that a month. A lot
Mhm.
of people don't do that. A lot of people also don't log in daily and engage, right? So I log in twice, three times a day, and quite literally just for a few minutes, look at my feed and see, okay, yeah, I can engage with Aditya's post. Let me make a comment, right? Like, can I provide some sort of value? Also, a lot of people aren't utilizing the premium functions of LinkedIn. So as you know, LinkedIn has Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is a very powerful tool where you can create a list of the people you ultimately want to work with and
Yeah.
then start to engage with their post. You can then take it outside of LinkedIn and potentially email them. So the big thing is taking advantage of all of the different features that LinkedIn provides.
Mhm.
I'll give you another one. So recently they gave you the ability to have a slideshow banner. So instead of
Yeah.
just one banner on your profile, you can now have up to five images. So right away we took advantage of that. I went to the designer. I said, hey, let's design five different images
Mhm.
that tell the story of Socialien and what we do. They turned it around, and now if you go to my profile, you'll see that you're able to scroll through the
Yeah.
banner. So just staying on top of what's happening on the platform and then being a practitioner. So like doing the thing
Yeah.
that you are telling other people to do.
Mhm. Now, from the social media agency perspective, you are handling different platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts,
Pinterest.
and
Yeah.
a lot of things. Now, there are three different reel format platforms that are majorly out there, right? As far as I know. Instagram, you have YouTube Shorts, and there's TikTok. Uh,
Yep.
how should companies be differentiating? I mean, does the algorithm promote the same things across these platforms, or are there minute differences, very small differences that need to be taken care of?
Yeah, definitely there are differences in each of the platforms. So for starters, on TikTok, you can only post videos. You can't
Yeah,
post graphics or
yeah.
carousels or whatever. Like on Instagram, you can post multi-format content.
Mhm.
Also, what's trending on the platform itself is typically different, right? Like what's trending on TikTok is definitely not trending on YouTube Shorts because YouTube Shorts, there's not really anything trending per se.
Yeah,
So from a brand perspective, if I'm thinking about all the different channels, I'm like, okay, maybe my TikTok content needs to be more trendy. It needs to be more driven within pop culture. It needs to be more entertaining versus on YouTube, I may be thinking about the evergreen piece of content, right? Like, hey, is this going to live and provide value to the end user forever?
right.
Also taking into consideration the search engine part of YouTube, right? Like YouTube's the
Mhm.
second largest search engine. So how can we optimize the YouTube Shorts to show up in the search results? And there's multitude of different ways to do that, but I would say those are just a few of the nuances of the platforms. Like another example is on Instagram, you can do outbound engagement. So you can take your company profile and you can go to, your prospect's profile and you can leave a comment. Same thing on TikTok, but you can't necessarily do that on YouTube.
Yeah. And now coming from, okay, where was I about to go? Yeah, the I think we talked a little about it earlier, right? Where Instagram was, uh, no, Google was doing SEO using Instagram posts. But now I want to talk about how Instagram itself has built in SEO into
Right.
search, right? Now, how revolutionary would that be for content creators or brands to?
It's huge,
It's
huge, huge.
yeah.
Yeah, so we actually, our last podcast episode was about social engine optimization. So definitely go watch that if you're interested in how you can optimize for social search,
Yeah.
because a lot of search is moving and has already moved to social. Like, for example, when I go to a new city or I'm in a vacation and I want to find local spots, I'll go to TikTok first and I'll search, best pizza in Naples, Italy, or something like that. And then I just go through all of the TikToks and I take a look at everybody who is, making content around it. And then I say, oh, wow, that's actually looks like a legit spot. And there's a lot of stats out there, like for Gen Z, for example, they go to TikTok or Instagram first as a search engine before they go to Google. Um, so a lot of search behavior is moving towards LLMs and social, but still, it doesn't even get close to what's happening on Google search or Bing or whatever.
Yeah. Now, if you can share some brief insight as to what should brands be doing, okay, about trying. Obviously, people should be going and watching that episode that you just mentioned. But then, if you had to share the first step that somebody can take for optimizing
Yeah,
their.
well, first step is make sure that your settings in your profile are accurate, right? So in that episode, we provide a checklist of what to do. But for example, you want to go to your Instagram and make sure that your posts are public. A lot of brands and creators will have a non-public profile, and obviously that's not going to get indexed. The
Yeah.
second thing is put yourself in the searcher's shoes, right? So what is your prospect ultimately going to search for? And then try to build your content strategy around it and put out as much content as possible. Going back to the interest media comment that I made, today, you might have 1 million followers and I might only have 10,000 followers, but still one of my videos could get way more views than one of your videos just because of the way the algorithm works. So having a sound content strategy in place that not is just checking a box and saying, oh, we need to post on Instagram because that's what brands do versus saying,
Yeah.
we need to post on Instagram because we want to provide value to X persona, can help you drive your content strategy and then going at bat as many times as possible. So trying to create as many pieces of content that you can then distribute.
Okay. Now, since we are on that topic, since algorithm came up, just wanted to get your 2 cents, just from a light perspective, not very serious. Um,
Sure.
can content creators actually crack the algorithm? Uh,
No, definitely not. Right. So one, the algorithm is changing all the time. So you might crack it today and you might have like this Mr. Beast moment where you're like, okay, I know exactly what the YouTube algorithm works. Um, and there are outliers, like I said, Mr. Beast, he has like figured out what the YouTube algorithm works. But for the majority of people, I think it's trying, testing, experimenting as much as possible and then looking at the data, right? Like the data is the most important thing, whether it's the time to post, whether it's the category of content that you created, whether it was the hook that you used that might have performed well. So looking at the numbers in a very thorough manner can help you get closer to cracking the algorithm. But as I said, the algorithm changes like pretty frequently, so never know.
and how's your experience been with the algorithm?
Uh, Not great, right? Like I said, my follower count is growing. On LinkedIn, we have 13 that myself, I have 13,000 followers. But it's a numbers game, right? The more
Yeah.
I test, the more I experiment, the more I'll learn, and the better my content will get over time. So up until this point, I'd say subpar, but moving forward, hopefully we figure something out.
That's right. So, as a company in the past 14 years, just a random question came up to my mind.
Yeah.
In the past 14 years, how many clients have you worked with? And
Oh man. So we operate on two ways, right? So we have project-based clients and then we have retainer clients.
yeah,
Between those two, well over 250 clients we've worked with.
right. And if you had to put a number as to the number of engagements that you've created, what would that be?
Oh man, over
Right.
15 to 20 million engagements,
Right.
probably even more. I
Thank
mean,
you.
some of our posts, like we've had multiple posts that we have created for brands that
Uh-huh.
have gotten over 1 million views. So you just take a few of those, right? Like let's just call it 5 or 6 of those that we've created that have gotten over 1 million views.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you add all of the smaller ones, the ones that get 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 views, and then you add the comments that get, 80 comments, 200 comments, all combined, I would say, yeah, probably well over 20
That's a huge number, to be very frank. From a personal content creator perspective, that's a huge number that I need to look forward
for
to.
sure.
So, working on that. Before we close, tell if you can share a little more about your company and your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Socially In is one of the few agencies that only focuses on social media. And since day one, we have only focused, and our mission has always been the same, which is to help brands with world-class social media marketing services and having fun while doing it. And we do a plethora of different things, right? So we help brands with social strategy. We
Yeah.
help them with content production. So everything from short form videos to UGC to graphics to animations. I mean, we have a full production studio here in Atlanta where we create social first content. We help with basic day-to-day social media management, so creating the calendar, coming up with new ideas.
Mhm.
We help with data analysis. This is a big service of ours where we help brands make sense of the numbers that happen on social media. Because, like I said, if you don't understand the numbers, then you can never improve at the end of the day. We
Yeah.
help with advertising management. I mean, we manage well over $12 million a year across all of the major social channels. We're Meta Marketing preferred partners. We were one of the first 300 TikTok agency partners. We help with influencer activation. So we help brands find influencers. We analyze their audience. We negotiate on behalf of our partners. We handle the legal that's involved. We
Okay.
handle the tracking, the placement, the whole nine yards. And then last but not least, we help with social selling. So we help executives and sales reps with their personal LinkedIn profile. And very recently, we've launched services around Reddit and TikTok Live.
Okay. Now, I don't know how that works out, but if you can just tell me what exactly do you do with Reddit profiles?
Yeah, so a couple of different things. One, we help brands manage their personal Reddit accounts, right? So the username socially in, and we help them identify different threads that they can jump into.
Okay.
So someone is asking about Facebook ads and how they can optimize it. That's a perfect opportunity for socially in to provide some value. We
Yeah.
also help brands through shadow accounts or persona accounts where we can purchase, high karma accounts and then use those to insert not just the brand name, but value and maybe even the competitor's name in different threads that might be happening. And then the third thing that we're doing is we're helping brands own their own subreddit. So
Right.
a brand like Socially In might own the subreddit social media marketing and then cultivating a community around that where it's run and moderated by Socially In, but different people are engaging, they're commenting with each other,
Uh,
building a helpful community that serves the greater purpose. And for us, it's helping Fortune 500 and mid-sized companies with their marketing efforts.
right. So, where can people get in touch with you?
All over. So my name is Keith Kacadia. That's my handle on all of the different social channels. My company's name is Socially In. It's just Socially In on all of the different channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. So they can find me pretty easily anywhere if they just Google my name.
Thank you so much, Keith, for joining me in on this episode. It's been a wonderful conversation. We did quite
Yeah.
a lot of insights across everything that we could on social media. So, thank you for joining in. To the
Yeah. Thank you for
audience,
having me.
thank you so much. To the audience who's been watching and listening, if you like the conversation, do leave a like. If you have something to add, if you have a question or you want to add more perspective, do leave a comment. It's always open. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe before you close. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks, Aditya.
Thank you.